If you hate or love Azriel, stop listening to this podcast right now.
No.
Only if you're blonde.
You're listening to Getting Fae'd. We,
Meike,
Lea,
and Lukas are reading A Court of Mist and Fury for the very first time. Today we are covering chapters 22 and 23. Get Fae'd with us!
Woo!
Hello,
Hello.
hi.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this recording, to this session today.
Wow.
Just before we hit record, I thought of a little intro that might be a fun addition to this episode because the chapters aren't quite that long. Because Meike and I, we started watching the HBO series, His Dark Materials, which also happens to feature an Azriel, but spelled slightly differently, so it's not quite the same, but it's fun. And in this universe of His Dark Materials, the Golden Compass, if you live in the United States, the Sorcerer's Compass, then it features so-called demons, which are like animal parts of your soul, I guess, and they manifest in some specific animal. And I was wondering, the gang, the inner circle of Night Court, what animals would we assign to their personalities?
I think one we already know, because Rysand would be a bat.
But they are not, like demons aren't you as an animal. They're just like your animal companion.
Yeah.
But imagine him with a little bat that is sitting on your shoulder.
But can a bat truly be sexy?
Yes.
Why would his animal need to be sexy? What animals do you think are sexy?
Seals.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I can get behind Rysand having a bat as an animal companion. Do we then think Morrigan has a lion because her zodiac sign is lion?
No.
I think maybe Amren has a lion or a lioness. Mm-hmm. But I think Morrigan has more, maybe like a cute little doggo.
Aww.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
a
it
cat.
feels too basic for Morrigan.
But if it's a cute little doggo.
A chihuahua.
No, I'm sorry to most chihuahuas, but most chihuahuas are not that cute.
Yeah, I can get behind the cute little dog.
Maybe I would give Amren a platypus, just because it's
Yes.
such a unique
Yes.
animal. And Amren is very unique.
Okay, I like it.
That's perfect.
But is it like Perry?
Yeah.
Does it also go grrr?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
a
of
very
course.
bad Perry.
Maybe I would give Feyre a ferret.
You're a ferret, Farah.
Because I feel like ferrets are cool animals, but they're also, like, they move very hectically. And I feel like Feyre right now is in a very hectic mood. Like, she's stressed and uncertain of what to do. And
Yeah.
I think Cassian maybe has a gorilla.
yeah,
And
perfect.
then Azriel maybe I think he would have an animal that does not fit his appearance.
A red panda.
Yeah, a red panda
Or maybe-
or a swan.
Ooh, I like
Maybe
both
a swan
ideas.
for Morrigan.
Yeah, that's
Because
a good
she's
idea.
very elegant and pretty. But I think she can be feisty.
I like a swan.
I was thinking for Azriel something maybe unexpected and not that like useful to keep around, which might be like an eel.
I don't know about that.
It's a funny thought.
Or maybe a dolphin, but I don't think a dolphin should.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, welcome our fourth pod member, Flipper. How you doing? Okay.
I didn't know this about you, Mike. This kind of surprises me right now.
That's my dolphin sound.
That's actually quite impressive. I used to be able to do this quite well when I was younger, before my voice turned deep.
Can you do a deep dolphin?
It sounded like a goat.
If Morrigan is a swan, maybe Azriel could be a black swan. Because they are meant to be with each other.
Very nice.
And then do their swans like form a heart,
Yes.
Yes.
their heads and neck.
Yeah.
Like in all their meetings, there's just these two swans, like, and then a gorilla next to them.
That's a very good fit for Cassian. Like, the gorilla is perfect.
So should we go through them all again? Feyre is the ferret, Rysand has the bat.
Cassian is the gorilla, Azriel is a black swan, Morrigan is a normal swan.
And then Amren is a platypus.
Nice. And just as honorable mentions, Lucian is obviously a fox.
Yes.
And Tamlin is a leech.
Don't you think Tamlin might be a cockroach and Ianthe might be a leech?
Yeah, okay.
Great.
Great. Now let's get into the episode. But first,
Let me
we're
take a sip.
gonna have... But before we get into chapter 22, maybe let's do a tiny little recap session for chapter 21.
Feyre went to prison.
And came
No.
back out.
That was not the last episode.
Really?
I think last...
Oh, no! I know what happened. Shut up, I know what happened.
Okay.
Feyre went to the Weaver,
Right.
burned her house, burned her work, stole Rysand's ring, got the ring back to the peeps, proved that she is now official tracker of magical thingies.
Which means she can...
Track one half of the book.
Yeah. Which is in summer court.
That's...
I think that's it.
Oh, I think we learned about Rysand's dark past with Ianthe. Like that she tried
Right.
to... whatever with him.
Well,
You can say it. This is an all age. Not an all age. This is...
that is the exact opposite of what this podcast is.
We have the explicit E. Yeah, so Yanthe tried to rape Rysand, but he was just too powerful.
Good for him.
Yay. So Yanthe, not great. So we can conclude Feyre will be able to track like the summer court book half. So we kind of assumed that the journey in this book might go to summer court.
Yes.
But to my surprise, chapter 22 opens with quite a promising sentence, because apparently Rysand wants to make good on his promise to bring us to the mortal realms. Which means we might get to see Elaine and Nesta and the father, who I don't think he has a name, but the father. Again, we'll see about that. And I think it's kind of funny that made me so hyped, because it just kind of portrays a stark contrast to book one, when the prospect of her just returning home completely killed the pacing. And we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was very surprised that they immediately went to the mortal realm, or have the plan to go there. And a part of me was like, is this too fast? Like, I needed some downtime in between.
Yeah, I thought of you wishing for some downtime last episode, and then I read it and was like, no, that's not what she's getting.
Yeah. And like with you saying like, oh, last time we were so angry about her returning home, because I feel like in the last book we basically only had downtime before something happened. And so...
And I
this
mean,
is
now
kind
she
of-
has a mission.
Yeah.
Like returning home won't just be returning home. It will be
Yeah.
setting base to do something. So
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm very excited by this. I just thought we would have a chapter in between.
yeah, me too.
Yeah. But before they go home, we get this kind of cute scene where Morrigan and Feyre just kind of lounge in Feyre's bedroom, Morrigan on the bed, and they talk about human fashion and pick out human clothes. But Morrigan actually seems kind of tired, because apparently she was out partying with Cassian and Azriel the night
Love
before.
it.
Amazing.
Great. And also we get the great description that apparently at the breakfast table, Az and Cass looked like they had been run over by a wagon. Repeatedly. Which is just a great
Very
description.
fun.
And a small part of Feyre actually wonders what it might be like to go out partying with them.
Yes, I want them to go out partying together. I wonder if that happens in the future. And that made me wonder if maybe once this is over, feels like too much, because it feels like a big story. But maybe at some point, Feyre enters kind of her rebel phase. Like maybe she's butting heads with Rysand and kind of joins the gang in their gang shenanigans. Because I feel like Rysand is... He feels like more the leader of the group, and so a bit more of the mature one, even though that's a big word for Rysand. But he feels like the one who's like, guys, we should concentrate on this because this is important. And they were like, no, let's go party. And then Feyre joins them and is kind of like, it kind of feels like she has to hit a puberty phase because she's in this new body and she has to grow in this new body and into this new role and into this new friend group. And that could be a very fun dynamic.
Yeah, I agree. I really need to see this, please.
Yeah, them just not having to worry about plot shenanigans, just going out and party in some Velaris club. I think I could eat up 4 chapters in a row about that without complaining that there's plot missing.
And the thing is, I think that's kind of what I was hoping for between these chapters, because I feel like I need to get to know these characters better. Mm-hmm. I feel like I still only just met them. But
I guess we might get that when we establish our base in the mortal realm. Because that feels like downtime.
Yeah.
Because they need to have a strategy, because they don't yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Morrigan and Feyre kind of talk about human fashion and thus about human culture. And what caught me off guard again, it's the same thing with navy shoes, is that Feyre uses the word décolletage and like with the accent aigu and everything. And does this just confirm that France exists in this world? Is there a French-speaking country on the continent?
That means there are fancy people in this world that are aristocrats that like to use French words to be fancy.
Yeah, but if they like to use French words,
you know,
that means the French language has to exist.
You know, currently watching his Dark Materials, this could be a good explanation for this. Maybe this is a world not too unlike ours. So they have, like, France. Just in this case, it's not called France, like Great Britain is not called Great Britain, but Brithian.
Mm.
So maybe France is called, I don't know, Jeremy.
Right. And then the people in Jeremy just speak French.
It's like in Andor, where all of Gorman is like the French people, because it's the fashion planet.
Maybe they kind of reflect on how mortal women don't really have any practical clothes that would allow them to run or fight, because, well, all they do, if they have money, is they marry, and then they bear children, and then they plan their children's weddings, which just sounds like a rough time.
Well, it sounds like the role of historic women in aristocratic positions or other positions, I guess.
Sounded very much like the depressing truth.
Yeah. But what I found interesting is that Morrigan says, like, 500 years ago, when Morrigan was still meeting human people, or especially human women, they were like wearing clothes fitting for fighting because they had to fight. And I was wondering, like, and not me, like they're wondering in the book, like, what changed? And I was wondering, what does that tell us about the mortal society?
You know, I think what changed is that suddenly Fae were not the most oppressive predator anymore, and now men were able to do what men do.
Yeah.
And oppressed women.
Yeah. The thing is, we know that they don't really have a religion in the mortal realm, because it is mentioned later again, but it has already been mentioned that they don't have any holidays anymore. And to me, it feels kind of weird how a patriarchy is established without, like...
God.
Yes. without like a religion, especially like a patriarchal religion, because they explicitly don't have any religion. I was like, so the men just decided they were better, or?
You know, I think when you have a species that is like physically so much stronger than you are and kind of uses you as a servant, men and women used to be very much alike, because all of them were just the servants to the Fae. And then that stopped. And then men noticed that they, like, physically could be overpowering to a woman. And maybe they were like, oh, well, now the big guys are gone. I could be the big guy now.
Maybe men just don't need a reason. Maybe men just suck. And also, I mean, we know that, like, the mortal culture is quite influenced by the Fae culture.
Right.
And as Morrigan states, the Fae culture is also in some ways a patriarchal shithole.
Right, they don't believe in women in ruling positions.
And Feyre kind of has a quite summarizing sentence to that, where she says, the wealthier they are, the more restricted their freedoms and roles become. And it's like, yo, I guess. But at least you have food.
Yay! And then we get, like, a tragic backstory drop for Morrigan. But, I mean, come on, guys. What's a cool character like Morrigan without a tragic backstory?
Yes.
It just doesn't work. So she has one. Because, as we know, she was born in the Hewn City, the original Night Court under the mountain. And apparently there, women's virginity is guarded and then sold to the highest bidder once they start their period. And then the highest bidder gets to marry them, to make alliances with the family, and you just kind of buy yourself in, and then you just kind of get the women on top as a prized item.
So they don't give a crap about the mating bond? Question mark?
Huh. Right.
Maybe, I
Yeah.
guess. Like the Court of Nightmares prized themselves to be so superior, especially next to the Illyrians, but then they both treat women as breeding stock.
Classic.
Great.
Well, unfortunately, Morrigan was born into that shithole of a society, and she already seemed to be quite powerful at a young age, but then when she got her first period at 17, her power just kind of exploded out of her, which is, I think it's quite an interesting and cool mechanic, I guess, that the power burst happens with your first period.
The thing is, it kind of symbolizes like, ooh, now you're an adult and now your powers are fully realized.
Yeah, I think it's fun that it's not gradual, your power growth, but that it's just boom.
The thing is, it didn't like really piss me off or it didn't really annoy me, but it was kind of that is like connecting her power to her period because it's like, it's the power of women.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah, and it's quite a lot of power for this one woman, and we don't really know what happened. It's just noted that the mountain around them trembled when this power burst happened. So, I don't know. But Morrigan's parents and family was just hyped as fuck because they knew that this powerful little bean that they produced... I don't know why Morrigan just turned into a bean that is produced.
So cute.
Yeah, she's a powerful little bean, trademark Morrigan. And her family now knew that she will fetch quite a high price on the market for females. And so obviously all the people in the Court of Nightmares wanted to wed Morrigan to breed this power into their family line. Nasty.
Yeah.
But then, apparently, she was saved by Cassian and Rysand, and apparently Cassian risked a lot to save her. But this is a story for another time.
Well, the thing is, Rysand, if he does something against the rules, you can't really punish him that much because he's still the prince. I mean, she says they weren't like in positions where they were able to risk a lot, but like he was still a prince. If Cassian goes against law, I guess he could probably just be executed or something.
Yeah.
And in this story about Cassian and his bravery, I almost got the feeling like she's swooning a little bit over Cassian.
Me too.
But then I think she's actually she respects him a lot. And
I like that.
yeah. And I mean, she does add Azriel in the end to like,
In a
be
very
sure.
cute way. Very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
But I was kind of disappointed that we don't get the full story of how they got her out of there. And speaking of disappointments, we also learned that Morrigan will not join us in the mortal realm.
I was so heartbroken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, how is she gonna fall in love with Nesta if she's not coming?
Right.
Big sadness. Big sadness.
But Morrigan says she will join once the 6 mortal queens are in the picture, because she wants to see if she recognizes any of her dead friends in their faces, which means she knew the 4 mothers of the queens, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not off the table that she will fall in love with Nesta, because obviously the book series will end with Nesta on one of the thrones
Yeah, I think so.
as a queen.
Wow, that would
I
be sick.
actually think so.
She's queen material.
Yeah.
If she
Yeah.
has a bit of character growth. Like,
Yeah.
not right now, but she can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The material is there. Yeah.
But I think it's very cool to see Morrigan call the mortals she knew friends, because I think we knew that Night Court people were like allied to mortals, but being an ally and being a friend are 2 very different things, I think. And for her to call humans her friends just shows how deep that connection from Night Court and mortal people went. And I think that's very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice.
What I was thinking, like, of course we knew the queens existed, but they have this patriarchal society and then are ruled by 6 queens since 500 years or something.
Maybe they are not really ruling. I kind of feel like this could be you know, they are called queens, but maybe they are like a prize kept somewhere, like to look at. Like, oh, those are queens, like the jewels of this kingdom, of this world. But they don't actually do shit. They're just to look at and be a symbol.
Do you think it's more like a representational monarchy? Or do you think it's like, here in Germany, we have like a wine queen? Who is like the woman with the best wine, I guess. And they are crowned, and then often it's also mixed with like a little bit of a beauty pageant.
I was about to say.
And I feel like a representational monarch has a different role than just like, I feel like a wine queen is very to look at.
Yeah, no idea. I just think the way Feyre thinks about women, it doesn't feel like she comes from a matriarchy.
Yeah, right.
She would have a different view on the world and a different view on how Tamlin treats women, especially Feyre, if she came from a kingdom that was ruled by 6 very strong and independent women.
I mean, maybe.
The hands are up.
Feyre's image of women and patriarchy as such is just coined by her existence on this one little mortal slither of land on the Prythian island, I guess.
You think the continent is very cool?
Yeah, maybe the continent is like a progressive matriarchal utopia of sorts.
Would be cool.
It would be quite great. But that just... Maybe the continent doesn't even care about this fucking island coast of mortal
Probably.
thingies.
They forgot.
Yeah, they just forgot.
And that's why they're still so fucked up. Like, they still don't have anything.
They don't have cities, they don't have culture.
Feyre shows up there and is like, well, I'm from this human part on the island. They were like, wait, there are still humans there?
I mean, they do trade.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought we were trading with ghosts.
I thought you said goats.
Nice. But that's not...
Sorry.
That's not like a fan theory, but more like a fan hope that maybe the mortal lands on the Prythian Islands just a patriarchal exception of the great human realms.
I mean, there might be 6 different countries on the mortal part of the continent, and they might all be a little bit different.
Yeah, but all great.
Wait.
Yippee!
Utopia.
Well, as Morrigan tells Feyre that she does not want to go, Feyre's Spring Court influence comes through once more because she immediately assumes that Rhysand forbade Morrigan to go. But that's actually not the case because Rhys, Cass and As tried their best to convince Morrigan to come with them, but she denied. Sadness. And about Azriel, there's this quote that I think you alluded to earlier, and I'd like to read it because it made me quite happy and very infuriated at the same time. Yes, Azriel, who kept a step away, whose shadows trailed him and seemed to fade in her presence. That was the part that I liked, and the part that made me infuriated goes as follows. I opened my mouth to ask about her history with him, but the clock chimed 10. Time to go!
Sure.
Tja, happens.
We do not get more and as lore.
No. Another time. But we get a very cute goodbye from the two of them.
Yes, because Feyre recognizes Morrigan to be a role model and would like her sisters to meet Morrigan. And in that, she also recognizes Morrigan to be a role model for herself. And that was just very heartfelt and sweet.
Yeah. It also gave me a bit of, I don't know, maybe a theory for Morrigan's path that might not be so bright. Because, I don't know, she's such an interesting character. And I feel like because we're told so early on that she's so strong and that she has such a good way to cope with all of the trauma she went through, it kind of feels like she could be a character that at one point chooses the wrong path because of all that anger that she has inside of herself and that she has to endure. I think they talk about like having hard days and never not having hard days, but you just cannot let the hard days win. And I think storytelling-wise, it would be a very cruel but very well-written choice, maybe, to at some point let Morrigan have the bad days win and turn down a path that Feyre can't follow. No, but like, you know.
Yeah, I like it. Like, obviously I wouldn't like it, but it's like,
Right.
oh, juicy.
This scene made me imagine maybe not a villain Morrigan, but a villainous Morrigan.
An
That maybe
emo Morrigan.
no, maybe
At one point she will dye her golden hair black. And that's when we know she's on the wrong path.
And then she looks like everyone else.
right.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't want it,
No, I want her to be happy.
but I can see it. Potential sadness on the horizon.
And then Feyre adds an apology for being so unkind to Morrigan in the beginning. Just love.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah.
scene. I love them.
Great scene.
They are the perfect BFFs.
Yes.
And they are high fae. They truly might be best friends forever.
I would like to introduce a new term here.
Okay.
I have taken this term from another podcast. It's the Come Along Pond podcast where they talk about Doctor Who, and especially in
Shout out.
shout out, great podcast, and shout out Doctor Who. But in the first seasons that started in 2005, Rose, or the other companions as well, they often have a talk with like another female character, and the people on this podcast, they always call it the hot girl chat. And yes, the girls are also hot, but not just because they're hot, but because it's like a deep connection between two female characters. And yeah, I just thought that was very fitting here. It's good hot girl chat here.
Nice. But let's maybe move on from sadness on the horizon and talk about some happiness on the horizon, because they are going to the mortal lands, and apparently there's like a tear in the wall just somewhere off the coast,
How convenient.
and they have to fly there. And the happiness on the horizon that I wanted to talk about is whom Feyre chooses as her flight pilot. Meike, maybe take it away. I think you can swoon over this more than I ever could.
She chooses Azriel.
How did that make you feel?
Perfect. I like how obsessed Feyre is in a way with Azriel that just seems very, very platonic. Like, I don't get any like romantically interested vibes from Feyre towards Azriel. But every time he shares a scene with her, she's like, she talks about him so much. And then for her to immediately go like, I will fly with Azriel because she doesn't want to fly with Rysand because she feels awkward about him. It's just, I don't know, I love that.
But the thing is, the way she chose to fly with Azriel, I kind of took away something else. I mean, obviously, she doesn't want to fly with Rysand because she's like, I'm not letting these feelings that might emerge here in
No
already.
sexual tension today.
Yes. But also, imagine she would choose Cassian. Like, that's the other choice. And no.
Right.
So I feel like, I agree she talks about Azriel a lot, but I feel this is more like the sane choice. And not like, ooh, Azriel.
It's the only right choice.
Azriel is always the sane choice.
Yes.
Maybe not the sane choice, but the right choice.
But someone who is not joining them is Amren, who is also staying behind.
Yeah, but I feel like
Yeah.
that makes sense. Amren feels like she's so ancient and so unhinged in a way. Maybe it's better she stays put behind.
Yeah,
The wall.
also we don't ship Amren with any of the mortal.
Not yet.
Father, not like I want them to be together, but I want her to take this father and like have a time.
Crush him.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
But-
sorry I forgot about your ship, I guess.
Yeah. But
How
the
are
thing
we
is,
gonna call the ship?
Femren.
Amren.
Father Amren.
no, it's
Father
parents
and-
because Amren is mother.
It's just parents.
Yeah.
Or maybe Mofar.
Mofa.
Mother and father. Famo.
I'm for parents, the parentship.
The parentship. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
But the thing is, I think it would be really interesting to see her interact with mortals. But I agree. She even sees Faye so beneath her, like, that would go some weird way.
But before they leave, I want to talk about something. Maybe it happened like off screen, but what did not specifically happen before Feyre leaves is that she returns Amren's ancient amulet
Right.
that kind of helped Amren escape, or maybe it was just a placebo, whatever. But, you know, I edited episode, I don't know, 32, I guess, the other day, and I already forgot about that, but in that episode we kind of stumble over a sentence where she meets Amren for the first time, and like her mind description of Amren is, after Rysand gifted Amren a piece of jewelry. Wow, this is a long setup for this theory. Feyre's mind description of Amren is Amren, whom I would never dare to steal the jewelry from. And we were just like, what a random thing to think. Like, what the fuck? But maybe that was just some smart piece of foreshadowing that I don't know if there is something there, but maybe Feyre just accidentally steals this amulet.
Accidentally, I love it.
And then just maybe Amren doesn't even like consciously want that, but maybe she unleashes the wrath of Amren upon the world because her amulet is missing.
I like what you noticed. But the thing is, like, why wouldn't Amren just be like, bro, you still have my brooch? Or amulet. It's an amulet, not a brooch.
Yeah, that's also like the one missing piece in my conspiracy.
But maybe it's like a magical thing. I mean, because it helped her escape, allegedly. So maybe Feyre is like not really able to give it back. And it's like, no, I have to keep it. It's precious.
Maybe she's testing her.
Amren.
Yeah. She's not saying anything because she's testing her.
But that's the thing. Like, if she had been there the moment they got back, I think Feyre would have just given it to her. I feel like Feyre just kind of forgot.
Yeah.
But maybe she hasn't. Maybe, like, in the 3 chapters, we will see her standing over her jewelry box and be like, it is mine, my precious.
Probably not.
But I like it. Good theory.
Thank you.
Though I don't think it's smart foreshadowing. I just think it's weird foreshadowing. Because it was not subtle if it was foreshadowing. Like, it was just a random sentence.
Yeah. Well, anyways, they fly to the mortal realm. But before that, Rysand has to winnow them all to, like, in front of the border, which kind of surprised me that he has to winnow Azriel and Cassian in, because I just kind of assumed that they can winnow as well.
No.
But they have only death magic.
I thought everyone can teleport.
Doesn't he mention winnowing to be special?
Yeah, only the most powerful High Fae can do it.
Yeah, but I thought these are the most powerful people around.
They are Illyrians.
I agree, though. I was kind of surprised when it happened, and then I was
Thank
like,
you.
oh yeah, that makes sense, though.
I love how he does it, though. Like, they all hold hands in a way. Like, they all touch each other. They have to be connected to him. It's always a very funny image.
And then it does like poof.
Yeah.
But then I thought that would like make you very hyped because we kind of get Wall 1.5.
Yeah, we get the wall. We find it. I actually think it was a nice, intriguing, and interesting wall scene.
Yeah.
Which we have not gotten yet in this book.
The wall is still a fucking mystery to me. I don't understand anything about this wall.
Yes, but it's still interesting. Maybe because it's a mystery.
It's also interesting, like they put it up after the war, right? Mm-hmm. But they can only tear it down with the cauldron. Like with the cauldron, you could even be powerful to tear this wall down. Like, so what made the wall?
I think the wall is like a group project, like resurrecting someone. So all of them would kind of have to agree to take the wall down. Probably not all of them would. I feel like Rysand would be like, no, bro, I'm not giving you my magic to tear down the wall. So the King of Hybern needs a different way to tear it down.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. So they winnow to just kind of the sky over the sea, where allegedly this tear in the wall is, and she flies with Azriel, living Meike's dream.
I was a bit jealous, I have to say.
Meike, take us along on your emotional journey when you read the sentence, Azriel's body was warm and hard, though those brutalized hands were considerate as he gripped me.
He's a gentle boy. He's, yeah.
I love that you can appreciate it so much. I just kind of blew over them. Like, I don't even remember that being in there.
I'm an Azriel stan. I notice every sentence about that man.
And that is your God-given right.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm still very hyped about Azriel. I think he's a cool character. I like him very much. I want him to be more in this book.
They also have, like, kind of a nice, sweet heart-to-heart.
Right. What I really love about Azriel as a character, but about the whole friend group in general, is that they do not only validate Feyre's feelings, but they also admit to having similar feelings. Because she's like, I don't know where I fit in this world. And Azriel's like, God damn, I'm 500 years old and sometimes I don't know. And Tamlin would have never said a sentence like that. He's so focused on just appearing regal and high and mighty that I don't think he cares about emotions, not even his own. And those people are just like people.
I agree. But I also think like Azriel is uniquely open with his feelings here.
Is that too much for you?
No,
or is
no,
that
no.
just an observation?
An observation, like, I feel like, yeah, Rice Hand has already also talked about his feelings, but not in that way. Not like he was pressured to do so, but like, it was in scenes where it kind of came up. And here it's kind of Azriel's own accord, I guess. And to be like, yeah. And I think that shows us that Azriel is the sensitive one.
I think it's also a result of no sexual tension. Like I said,
Yeah.
I don't see any sexual interest between those two.
Right.
And I think if you don't feel awkward or like an attractive pull towards another person, you're more easily like you can say stuff without feeling very awkward about it and without thinking about it a million times over. And he can just be like, I'm unsure of my role in this world. Period. Like, he's not gonna be, does she think I'm too sensitive now? Does she think I'm not cool? Does she think I don't know what I want to do in my life? He's just like, I'm saying what I feel. And my friend just got their sentence.
They are friends. I love it.
Yes.
I like Azriel as well.
Yeah.
I don't love him yet, but I like him very much.
Yeah.
That's good because he's mine. You stay off.
Okay.
I mean, he's Morrigan's, but he's mine to fan over.
Okay. So listen up, everyone listening to this podcast. If you fan over Azriel, knock it off. That character belongs to Meike.
But how dare you to hate on him?
She's the only person who can love this character. You can like him. You cannot hate on him, but you can like him.
Okay, this is getting too big now.
No.
Yes.
If you hate or love Azriel, stop listening to this podcast right now.
No.
Only if you're blonde.
I was about to say, maybe you want to write as a constructive criticism of Azriel in the comments and don't just hate for no reason.
Right.
Yeah. Like, if you want to hate, then at least engage with our podcast online. That's
mean,
the
Stop
only way
hating
to
our
hate.
listeners now, please.
Don't hate.
Stop the hate.
We love you all.
Maybe Azriel is going to turn into the worst character ever, but right now, I'm just riding this wave of enjoyment.
That's a great thing, you know.
I'm surfing. Woo.
You can all share because he's fictional.
Do you see me surfing?
Yes, I see the surfing.
On his back.
Nice.
I still can't get behind this whole carrying someone bridal style
Yeah,
while
I
flying.
hate it.
Like, I get that it's the most practical
Yeah.
way to probably fly someone somewhere.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. I was like, piggyback would be so much better. But they have wings there. They can't do piggyback, so they have to do it like that.
Maybe-
I think it would be worse if they would be carrying her like a child.
Yes.
Like,
Maybe they could just build a harness.
yeah, that's also kind of fucked up. I just hope she learns to fly soon.
Yeah. But for now, she is carried by Azriel above the sea, and she actually glimpses the shoreline of Springcourt in the distance. I guess it's the western shoreline of Springcourt, because she remembers that Tamlin mentioned that he would have to check something out on the western shore. And she even wonders if he might be able to sense her close to him and what that would make him feel like. And maybe he even senses her in the hands of another male. So I guess she just watches over the western shore of Springcourt and sees like a tiny explosion. Because Tamlin has an angry testosterone outburst. Because someone's touching his girl.
Not his girl anymore.
And then we get a description of the wall, which is still invisible to Feyre's Fae eyes. In my notes, to underline the fact that she's Fae, I wrote Feyre, like written as Fae.
Nice.
But that pun doesn't really come across when
Yeah.
saying it out loud. But she can now feel its magic while flying through the hole, and the wall...
Sorry.
Come on.
Such a child.
I know.
This is an explicit podcast. Lea, if you want to be such a child, you have to leave.
Hole.
There's the door.
Either you will leave now, or we will have to call your mother, who will have to supervise you while you record this podcast.
Go for it. She would be very
She
confused.
has to sign a Mutti-Zettel.
Yes. And when they fly through the hole, the wall seems kind of mad that someone got through, which is mysterious because now it seems like the wall is conscious.
This is where it not lost me, but where I didn't understand the whole wall thing anymore. Because the Fae made the wall, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
Yes.
So why is the wall mad that someone from the Fae realm is getting into the mortal realm? It seems like it wants to keep Fae inside.
Yeah, I think that's the reason.
So does that mean the wall is working for both sides? I always felt like the wall was a thing Fae put up to be like, well, we're not gonna hurt you, so here's the wall, but we can still move through it. But now it seems like the wall is actually a thingy working for humans and Fae,
Yeah.
keeping them both on their sides.
Yeah, I think what happened is that they signed a treaty to put up this wall to protect the humans from the Fae, and because the Fae who used their magic to put up the wall were honorable, I guess, they actually designed the wall to keep them both out.
I guess that surprised me, Fae being honorable. I feel like if you are the only party that has magic and you are the only one responsible for putting up this wall, I would have tricked them.
I mean, they have abilities to get through. There
Yeah.
are several tears in
Maybe
that wall.
that's the trick.
Right.
Maybe they were like, but I will hit a little tear in a little hole in the wall, and I will leave instructions to all my bros on how to get through. Maybe that's what happened.
But I mean, that's the point of a treaty, that like all sides keep to it, I guess. At least it. Yeah.
And also Faye can't lie, so it was an honest mistake that there are holes in the wall now.
I just recently read another book where it was about Fae, and the whole thing was like, oh, the Fae cannot lie. And then in the end, it was a plot twist, like, oh, everything they said was a lie, because they can lie. Of course they can. And I was like, why is this still used as like a surprise?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be more interesting if it was actually the trope that they were sticking to, like that they actually can't lie and then still be devious and find ways around it to be devious. That would be interesting, or more interesting, I guess. But I actually have to say, I still don't think it's like the most innovative wall ever, I guess. But I like that the way it's described now with the magic and the energy that is like so abhorrent that you don't want to get near it.
She noticed how unsatisfying her description of the wall was in book one. She was like,
Maybe.
I can't continue with that.
I still find it unsatisfying that there are just tears in there that they can just go through anyways.
Yeah, kind of makes this whole wall useless. It wasn't a problem for Feyre. It's no problem for them. Why is it even here?
Well, I guess it would keep an army out.
I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah. And it keeps the monsters out, maybe?
Maybe.
Unless they
Whatever.
send the monsters through the tears.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the Martex?
The thing Mahogany killed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it died.
She was like, that's the most vicious kind of fairy. Beware of the Martex, and then never showed up.
It's Tamlin.
It's his beast form.
That would be dope.
It
if
would
they
be a
met
fun plot
Mahogany
twist.
again, and then Mahogany's like, oh, I'm giving you a description of the Martex. And then she describes Tamlin's beast form. And Faye was like, been there, done that.
Lol.
So let's get into chapter 23.
Yay!
Because they fly through the wall, it immediately gets colder on the other side because the spring magic is gone and it's the end of winter in the mortal realm. And we learn that it's been roughly 1 year since she killed that wolf in the beginning of book 1.
Yay!
Nice time knowledge for us. And they fly to the estate of Feyre's family. And Feyre wants to reasonably go to the house alone, to talk to them alone first. And Rysand and the rest are hidden by a glamour, so they are invisible to human eyes.
Wise choice to go alone. I'm not sure if it's a wise choice to glamour them. I just feel like that calls for trouble. Like, if things don't go well and someone finds out someone was glamoured and was there, maybe that would call for trouble. I don't know. I was just like, maybe they should just, I don't know, stay behind. But then again, Thomas Manry would come walking along and be like, fairies! And start a whole war. I don't know. So maybe it's a good choice.
When they walk through the village, she notices that there are a few, like, twigs, I guess, for decoration, but not
Twinks?
like... Twigs!
Oh.
They have some twinks for decoration.
I mean, with Nesta decorating the place, I could see it.
Just some human trafficking. There are some decorations put up, but not really for holidays, because as we said, no holidays. But then Feyre kind of reminisces about what happened to these mortal people that were enslaved by the Fae, and is like, I couldn't begin to imagine what millennia with high Fae like her, Amarantha, might do. The scars it leave on a culture, a people. And that sentence kind of left me, Because on the one hand, yeah, it's probably quite horrible. But then, like, when you think about, like, our world and, like, enslaved or colonized people, like, yeah, a lot of culture was lost, but also they preserved and formed new culture, which actually allowed them to survive. And, like, if I remember that correctly, that kind of felt, like, they were enslaved and so they have no culture at all left anymore and are destroyed. And it feels like
a very white view on the whole slave thing.
I mean, to be fair towards Feyre, this mortal slither beneath Prythian actually canonically does not have any culture left.
This is more a critique on Sarah J. Maas and how she's writing that. So, like, even though, like, when I read that sentence the first time, I was like, oh, so deep. And then I was like,
Read a good book on that recently. Read Blood Over Brighthaven. Good book. Woo. Fun book. Great book. Woo.
Bye.
M.L. Wong, I think.
And also, if someone listening to this might offer a more nuanced take on this topic, feel free to DM us on Instagram at GettingFadePod.
Or write in the comments below. I think on Spotify at least you can leave comments now. Or if you're listening on YouTube, you can also leave some comments.
Yeah, we would love to have a more knowledgeable take on this. Maybe we should just talk to Flipper about it. How do you feel about your people being suppressed? Yeah.
The oceans are polluted, I agree.
When and then Feyre knocks on the door of her old family home, and our beloved housekeeper, whom we all remember from book 1, Mrs. Laurent, I guess, or Laurent. We have established that fancy people use French words, so I guess Laurent opens the door and is immediately very, very sus of Feyre, because even though Feyre hid her ears and, you know, the golden diadem woven into her hair that she wears for some reason is also hidden under her hood. That was just, we haven't talked about this, but Feyre's outfit choice to not cause any big scene or attention in the mortal realm is just like this crown and this fancy outfit. It's wild.
The thing that I registered about it is that she says, ooh, this doesn't really fit, like, winter. But who cares? I was like, huh?
She's
Why?
fancy now.
Like, is that supposed to be like her emissary outfit? To be like...
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But why don't they just take with them some bags of clothing? Because the queens won't be there today,
Because it would
probably.
look awkward to fly with a sports bag filled with clothing.
Well, sucks to be you, I guess.
Sucks to be them.
Yeah.
But do you feel she's too cool about Feyre appearing Fae? I feel like the servant lady is so badass in this chapter.
Yeah, she picks up on the Fae aura quite quickly.
Yeah, I don't think she knows she's Fae. I just think something's up. I think she thinks something's up.
But she knows Feyre, right?
I don't know. Was she there the last book?
Yeah, Feyre mentions that she remembers Mrs. Laurent.
Yeah, I think she wasn't there last book, but she was. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't get to meet her, but she was around.
Like, canonically, she was around.
Yeah. So I was kind of confused by her. Like, she opens the door to the, I guess, the third daughter that left mysteriously. I mean, she told Nesta and Elaine, but she probably didn't tell the servant. And then Nesta and Elaine probably didn't tell the servant. So this mysterious third daughter comes back, looks very much changed. And she immediately is like,
Do not go too near to the other daughters.
I don't know. I felt it I think she was behaving a bit silly.
Yeah.
And she's very protective towards Elaine.
I mean,
and
Elaine's a
guess Nesta.
baby.
I
mean,
like.
Elaine is older than Feyre, but
She's a baby.
yeah, she's
just a
a baby.
I really loved her protectiveness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't quite place her yet.
Maybe she's just very, very racist towards Fae, as is
Probably.
every mortal in this world. And she's like, ooh, Fae vibes, danger, danger, stranger, danger. Oh, I guess lost daughter that I actually know, but now appears stranger, danger.
But then Elaine comes to the door.
No, before that,
sorry.
Before that, Mrs. Laurent drops the maybe best piece of dialogue in this book, but just like from a meta perspective, because she goes like, "Your father is away on business."
Yes!
We're never going to see that man again, right?
No. Sarah J. Maas just wrote this character and was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with him. He's away on business. Fuck this man. And I'm like totally fine with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that he's just not there. And she just wrote him out, and I hope it stays that way.
But with that, we also get kind of a lore drop because we learn that he is in
Neva.
Neva, one of the biggest cities on the continent. And he's there to meet up with some merchants. But he is also attending a summit on the threat above the wall.
Very interesting.
Quite interesting. That means, one, that her father actually regained his status as an influential figure in this world. And apparently the humans know that something stirs up in the cauldron.
That could mean that the whole monsters coming through and magic seeping in thingy is also happening on the continent.
Yeah.
Because there's
Probably.
also like a big chunk of Fae realm, at least on the map, that we haven't heard of yet. We don't know who lives there. There seem to be no courts.
We know
but
about
we don't know.
Valhalla.
Valahan.
Valahan. Yeah.
There don't seem to be any courts there.
Yeah.
But maybe they are just not on the map.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, I think it's very promising that the mortals try to ready themselves, I guess, and try to deal with the coming threat. And then I was thinking, like, if Neva is like the biggest or one of the biggest cities, is that where the queens are?
I thought so too.
And then I was like, but it's not on the map, but maybe because we don't go there yet.
And I feel like they would be in the capital. And for her to call it one of the biggest cities, it's
right.
not the biggest city. And the capital usually is like called capital. Like people say it's the capital.
Or there are several countries with several with several capital cities.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the queens are probably not in the same place.
Maybe they come together in
For the
Neva or
summit.
Neva.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe they rule different portions of the mortal realm and then come together to have council in this place. Like they have a palace there, maybe.
But the thing is, if they contact the queens that are in Neva for a summit, where the father is, there
Oh,
is
no.
potential
Oh, no.
for the father to hear about it.
No, she arrives in Neva and then meets someone who's like, oh, you're this merchant's daughter? Ah, he just left.
He drowned.
Maybe.
Died last week.
Oh, last week this strange, short, black-haired Fae woman came along and just kind of took him away as a quote-unquote toy. None of my business.
Haven't seen him again.
A sign of the threat from the north.
But then Elaine shows up.
Yes.
And they have the meeting, they have the reconciliation, and Elaine is quite happy to see Feyre
It touched my heart a bit.
and invites her in for tea.
Yes.
And Feyre describes this invitation as her inviting a wolf in her house.
She says, I felt like they had let in a wolf. A wraith. And I was like, oh, so she's evolving her identity from mouse to wolf to wraith now. What do you think comes next?
A vampire.
Okay.
Because she's invited into the home as a big threat.
Yeah,
Also, she has part of Rasanne's bat magic.
true.
So I think she will be a vampire.
Yeah.
Sure.
Feyre then sits down with her sisters in the tea room. Nesta is also there. Nesta seems a bit older. Not in her looks, but in the way she carries herself. So I guess she did some maturing. She's on her way to become the 7th queen, but not
the
quite there
only
yet.
queen.
Nice. Meike, I love your dedication that you smoked a pack of cigarettes before delivering that line.
It came from very deep within me.
Nice.
I love how you said how you wanted to say nice, but then mid-word deviated towards nice.
My instincts took over.
Came from very deep within you, right?
Yeah. I love that Feyre doesn't know, like, if Rysand and the boys went inside with them and just stayed hidden or stayed outside and, like, looked around. And I feel like both versions are, like, their own kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine if they're in there just invisible.
Hello.
Or if they're just left outside the door and they're like,
Well,
guess I'll just wait here then.
It would be respectful to just stay behind and let them have.
so
the
they're
talk.
inside listening.
Yeah, obviously. Maybe only Azriel stayed out.
He's like, no, I have principles.
Yeah, and then Feyre just kind of tells them everything.
Nice.
She tells them about how things under the mountain went. She tells them of death and rebirth. She tells them of her downfall with Tamerlane and about the last few months with Rysand.
I mean, it has to be kind of a wild revelation for the sisters, because the last thing they knew was like, I have to go save my High Lord. Oi. And now she's like, my High Lord is a piece of shit.
Nesta even comments on that
Yeah.
at the end of the chapter, which I
And-
loved.
Yeah, and
We
now
get
you're
there.
with another court.
Yeah, she's like, you did that all for this one man, and it didn't even end well.
Based, though. Based.
Yeah, but Nesta doesn't know Tamerlane. Maybe she would understand.
Well,
But yeah, all in all, Nesta is not amused because she worries quite a lot about this plan to just use this estate as a base because she does not want to be associated with quote-unquote your kind. Oof, big oof.
ouch.
And maybe they will even stoop low and be connected to the children of the blessed.
Ew.
Blah. And also, what of Elaine's wedding?
Wedding?
That's
love-
right, guys. Elaine is getting married.
I love that, like, Feyre has exactly this reaction, like, wedding? But also, I had the same reaction when I read that. I was like, wedding?
But she's promised to Lucian.
She's a baby.
Well, it turns out Elaine is actually engaged to one Grayson Nolan.
That is such a shitty name. Like, separately, the names are okay, but, like, in combination, like, Grace
Yeah.
and Nolan, that doesn't sound good
I
together.
just realized when I said it out loud that it was not a wise choice to end the first name on an N and then start the next name on an N.
Yeah.
Because you want to say Grayson Nolan, but that's no, you have to break.
Yeah.
You have to say Grayson Nolan.
And that's the thing where I think either he is not going to stay around long and just Lord Nolan will be important. And maybe like the son might be the new Lord Nolan at some point. Or we'll just know him as Grayson and the Nolan part will be unimportant eventually.
Yeah. But speaking of Lord Nolan, that's his shitty father. He's not a nice guy. Because he's on a crusade against Fae.
Of course he is.
What a big coinky doink.
I love it.
They would want to set up camp with their Fae buddies, and Elaine is married to an anti-Fae guy.
About to be married.
Well, to be fair, Grayson seems to be quite nice. He's not anti-Fae, but his dad is on a crusade.
I mean, he's not more anti-Fae than other mortals. Probably all mortals are kind of anti-Fae.
But this all just calls for spicy conflict.
Yeah,
It's also
amazing.
a bit on the nose, but I'm still hyped. I'm
Yeah.
still hyped.
It also feels like our theory of Elaine ending up with one of the Fae boys will very likely be correct. I feel like she's not gonna marry that guy. Or if she does, he's not gonna be around for long. No.
Rip Grayson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Lucian is not here now. And Cassian is like the new Lucian. Lucian from Wish. It's like, does that mean Cassian and Elaine?
I don't want it.
But I still can see it better with Lucian than with Cassian, because Cassian lacks this sweetness that Lucian has.
Yeah. I don't
Right
know.
now.
Okay, who of the inner circle guys seems the most gay?
Azriel.
I was about to say Razand, but he's more bisexual.
Yeah.
Or pan.
But I could really see the story of, I mean, we've heard that Grayson is kind of nice, so we would be sad if Elaine just leaves him, but maybe Grayson is nice, but a closeted gay Grayson, and then he might end up with one of the guys from the gang.
I love that you're so concerned with Grayson and that we would be sad if Elaine leaves him. I don't care about this man at all.
I would die for Grayson.
Okay.
No.
See you, new Isaac.
I would maybe risk my life for Grayson, but I would die for Grayson.
Okay. To answer your question, who's the most gay from the inner circle? Morrigan.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Morrigan and Elaine? But she's also
Morrigan
not
and
here.
Nesta. I feel like Elaine is not gay.
Nah. But if Morrigan ends up with Nesta, that would make Azriel free to
For
date
Grayson.
Elaine.
But I feel like Elaine and Azriel as well need someone to balance out their energies.
They both have this shy guy energy.
Shy guy!
Shiggy!
Why?
My go-to Mario Kart character.
Yeah, so I guess our top ships are Nesta, Morrigan. Still Alush, Elaine and Lucian.
Alush. I love it.
Sounds like aloof.
Yeah. And then obviously Azriel, Gayson and Azriel.
Yeah. What about Nestian?
I can see it.
You know who Nesta reminds me of a lot? This is a very...
Your
I don't know
mama?
if it's a very...
Sorry.
This might be a very niche comparison, or maybe not. I don't know.
I'm
But
all here for niche comparisons.
I, like, a few years back, I played the new, in quotation marks, King's Quest game. Do you guys know King's Quest?
No.
It used to be this point-and-click adventure, and then they made a new part, and there you play King Grayson. Nope, sorry, his name is King Graham.
Oh. Graham?
Graham,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Graham or Gayham?
Depends. Like, in King's Quest, you play this king, and then in the new King's Quest, you play him as a young, stable boy. And you have the choice of two women, and one of them is a bit, like, she's very intelligent, but she's a bit mean and very, I would say, quiet. And yeah, she's a bit mean, and she reminds me of Nesta. I have to show you a picture later.
What is her name?
I want to say Evelyn, but that might not be correct. No, Evelyn is the hamster.
I did not expect that.
I'm gonna check it out. Well, her name is Valenese, but the thing of the game is that you can choose between the two princesses. But like in the original game series, the wife, like the queen, is called Queen Valenese. So whatever girl you would choose would end up being Queen Valenese.
Right.
So one of them goes by Val and the other goes by Niece, but I'm not sure which one is which.
Okay.
So it could be Niece, it could be Val. I don't remember. Sorry for that tangent.
That's fine. Thank you for being a valued member of this podcast. But in the end, it's actually Elaine who convinces Nesta to agree to the plan, because she says this very nice quote: Feyre gave and gave for years. Let us now help her. And it's just nice that Elaine finally recognizes that her sister was the one and only reason for her survival for years on end, because she hunted and fought and was slayer.
I also found it very sweet, but it also reminded me of how shitty they were in the beginning, and I feel they still haven't, because we haven't been with them for a year, we didn't get to witness the growth, if there was any. And so she's kind of acknowledging it, and I think it's good that she's acknowledging it, but it's still
Yeah.
it's not enough, actually, but doesn't matter now.
At least I feel like Elaine was a passive kind of shitty, whereas Nesta was an active kind of shitty. So I don't want to say that Elaine is less to blame for how they treated Feyre, but I mean, in my head, she was also just 10 years old in the first book, so
I think she's just very naive.
yeah. I feel like for me it's just easier to forgive her, because she's so innocent and lovable. But then Nesta and Elaine agree to use this house as their base and want to keep it secret from the servants. We will just wait and see how that goes, because I can think of at least one servant who might be, I don't know, a snitch to Lord Nolan.
Or Grayson might show up and witness things.
Yeah, but Gayson is cool. I feel you haven't even met Gayson. How dare you assume that he will be a problem? Maybe he will just be the greatest character ever.
Maybe, but he is a son to his father.
He will kill his father.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
You heard it here first.
Gayson will murder his father. Yeah, with just his gay energy. Maybe he will learn to channel gay magic.
That's the gay agenda. Kill Lord Nolan.
Patricide.
Nice. And then he will summon a rainbow that will shoot out of his crotch and thus will murder Lord Nolan.
So his sexuality is evil. That's what you're saying.
No, his sexuality is good because Lord Nolan is evil.
But patricide is evil.
Says who?
The Bible.
Fuck the Bible. You heard it here first.
Okay.
Let's go.
But yeah, all in all, I'm very hyped about the prospect of them using this mortal home base. And we might even get to meet some beloved characters again. What do you think might be the chances of meeting Isaac Hale?
0.
Okay.
Except
I figured.
I think when he might show up is if they should rally an army there, where they rally the mortals. I think he would be a person who would fight in like a peasant army or something.
Yeah. And then maybe he will finally leave his stupid wife and be together with Gayson. The dream. Okay, what do you think are the chances of us meeting Thomas Mandray again?
I think they're higher.
The woodcutter's son.
I think he might, like, when it eventually gets out that Fae are in that area, I think he might band together with Lord Nolan and be evil Fae, let's kill them all.
Exactly my thoughts. And what do you think are the chances of us meeting our favorite mercenary from book 1 again, Mahogany Tuff?
It would be a dream.
Yes.
But
it would.
I don't know.
I think the chances are slim, but they are not 0.
Honestly, I feel like the chances are higher than Thomas Mandray. Because Nesta worked with Mahogany to track to the wall and try and save Feyre.
I forgot about that.
Like, they had a time together. They might even be friends now.
She might even live there.
In the house?
Yeah.
That would be so amazing. Maybe Nesta would get the idea to just call her very competent friend Mahogany Tuff. And on the one hand, that would be great. On the other hand, it would be quite sad, because then this character would probably be named. And maybe, just maybe not named Mahogany Tuff, because we made that name up. Do you think she will be called Mahogany Tuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're awesome.
Yeah.
And then the chapter ends with the sentence, "Would you like to meet them?"
And I was just like, yes, please. And then I was wondering, like, if they are in this room invisibly, will they just like drop their glamour and be there immediately? Or will they like open the door?
I feel like it would be unwise to just de-glamour themselves.
But it would be very
so
funny.
Yes, and that's why I think they would just unglamour themselves.
Cassian would unglamour himself.
Hello there.
Yeah.
If you want to meet them too,
then you should follow this podcast wherever you're listening to it. And maybe leave a kind review or some constructive criticism if you have any. And you can also just slide into our DMs on Instagram or TikTok at GettingFadePod and send us some thoughts over there, but just don't send any spoilers because we still want to go on with this project.
You could send us your best dolphin impression.
Yes, or any other animal for that matter. And if you're already there, you might like to check out our content over there because we have some highlights and some memes and some outtakes that might sweeten the time for you.
But before we end this episode, we actually have an announcement to make. Because you know how you usually have to wait 2 entire weeks before you get to listen to another episode of ours?
Whole weeks.
That's a long time.
So long.
I can't wait that long, Lukas. What am I supposed to do?
Well, Lea, you could actually tune in next week. Because
Next week?
next Tuesday, September the 2nd, we will actually publish a bonus episode.
A bonus episode?
A bonus episode!
Bonus episode!
This is actually a brand new format on this podcast. It's the BBC, the Bonus Book Club.
No affiliation with the British Broadcasting Network.
No, that's just a complete coincidence. And in this format, we will discuss books in full length. And next week, we will tackle Tusk Love by
Thea Gwanson.
Thea Gwanson. So maybe you could pick this up, read it, or maybe you've already read it. And then we will discuss this in a book club format. It will be a lot of fun, and we will hope that we see you there.
Yes. I was looking very much forward to this discussion, to this book, because I'm a little Critical Role girly. So for all you D&D guys and Critical Role fans, tune in. But also everyone else who likes a bit of spicy romance and a little bit of monster fuckery. Let's go. And then a new episode will grace your ear the next time when we are getting Fae'd.